Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mings and welcome you guys back to Let's Play Staff of Ages 0% Growths. It's time for Chapter 9, and a lot of people have been looking forward to this. I know I certainly did. So Chapter 9 is a defense chapter, and it's a fairly hard one, but I managed to find out a way to completely break it. So, we start off this chapter by giving 3 stat boosters to a new unit that just joined us. Her name is Fredericka. She's a Valkyrie, and she's going to be completely carrying this chapter. I'm going to show off her stats right here. Fredericka's an amazing unit. She's got B rank in Light Magic, C in Tomes, and her bases are fantastic. I've given her an energy ring, a goddess icon, and a talisman. With that energy ring, she can do insane damage with her light magic. She doubles pretty much everyone on the map except for the boss, and you'll see me put Fredericka to great use in this chapter. So in traditional Manx fashion, I start this defense chapter by knocking down my own walls. Again, it seems a bit counterintuitive since we're supposed to be defending, but I want to get my units into better positions where I can deal with them, and I simply can't do that while covering behind some walls. So, mainly I'll be sending Fredericka down into the center, onto this very nice convenient forest tile, where she gets 20% extra avoidance, which she will really need on this upcoming enemy phase, because she's going to be taking on like 7 enemies at once. Whereas the rest of my squad splits into 2 teams. The Suck squad, consisting of Stark, Eagle, Grace, Sawyer, and Owen, alongside Aurora, they're going to be going down here to this stair tile. You see me shooting down a Pegasus Knight right there with Charles with an iron longbow. I'm not sure if this was really necessary in hindsight, but it was a nice maneuver and it looked kind of pro, so I decided to keep it. Not sure if I just wasted a use of my bow though. Could have been. So Una takes a little bit of cover on the shop tile right here. She gets 10 avoid from it. Might as well take it, right? But the most important aspect of this phase is all the enemies Fredericka will be killing. I think she'll be killing like at least 7 units. Elijah will kill 2 Cavaliers with his halberd, which is great. But Fredericka will definitely be doing most of the heavy lifting on phase 1. Again, the optimal way to deal with a defense chapter is to kill as many units as you humanly can. And I'd rather play them aggressively, because if you just hunker down behind walls, you're just gonna get swarmed. And if there's too many enemies attacking you at once, it's gonna be absolutely impossible to place your units in such a way that they can only take a couple attacks at once. Like, even if you get like a quote-unquote choke point, which there aren't a lot of in this map, you still take like 3-4 attacks per enemy faced by ranged enemies, and that will pretty much kill you. So it's much more rewarding and much more effective, I'd say, to just send a really powerful unit out and kill as many units as you possibly can immediately. So here you'll see me split up my forces. The squad going right, aka the Suck squad, they're going to be doing something fairly important and something that is going to take a lot of effort, more than you might think. Whereas my slightly stronger units, they're going to go to the west-hand side and deal with all the enemies over here. Fredericka's going to be busy with something else. I can't really send her over there. She's going to go somewhere close, but she's not really going to be available. So all the enemies you see on the left-hand flank there, they're actually going to be dealt with by the other squad. Now, Elijah just hit level 10, and he learned a new skill. I think it's called Colossus, but I can't remember right now. It's actually a really good skill. It makes him take 2 less damage in combat whenever he has more constitution than his opponents. Elijah has 13 cons. This is going to be most of the time, unless he's going up against like super burly warriors or something like that. So effectively it really accentuates his tanking, which Elijah will definitely need, because he is one of the only units I have that can really take a lot of beating on enemy face. So I killed this guy with the Divine Tome. You may wonder why I used the Divine Tome. There are 2 healers on this map. They both have physics staves. Both of them have to be dealt with before I reach the boss. I'll talk more about him later. However, these healers have the miracle skill. If they're above 50% health, they can't get killed. They'll just get knocked down to 1 health. So what I need to do is I need to use a Divine Tome to knock them below half health, and then kill them. If I use a Shiner or a Lumen Tome, then I'm not going to knock them below half health, and as a result, I'm not going to be able to kill them. So I've already killed one of them. I'm gonna try to get the other one over to me as well. I leave this Shaman intentionally on 1 health to lure over the priests. The only downside is that he's placed on a forest tile. But he also needs to die before Fredericka reaches the boss, or else he will simply use his physics staff to heal him up, and it's gonna become impossible for me to kill him. So Fredericka places herself in range of a lot of enemies this turn. This is gonna be the most RNG heavy phase of this map. You'll see why on the next enemy phase. But meanwhile, Elijah is about to promote. Now, in Staff of Ages, you get 3 choices: Hero, Warrior, and Marauder. Marauder is a new exclusive class to Staff of Ages, and it's going to be the one I end up getting. The Marauder is a really interesting class. I really like how they used the Tarwas animation from Fire Emblem 8, but they sort of like remodeled it to a brigand on a horse, which is really, really creative. The best way to describe this class is a warrior on a horse. They get bows and axes just like warriors, but they get a mounts. Their stats are somewhat less impressive, but the mobility more makes up for it. And they also get sea bows, which is really nice. And I just so happen to swap around Elijah's inventory so that he has a bow in his main slot right now, so you'll see him use that to great effect on the next phase. Now right now, I got a little bit of break before reinforcements start pouring in. So I decide to heal up my guys and also move down to finish off that healer. Now it may seem a bit like overkill to move so many units down to kill him, but you'll see how exceptionally tough it can be to kill these healers, especially with 0% growths. Meanwhile, the Suck Squad on the right hand side, they begin a very, very important process of killing the reinforcements from the right hand side of the map. Every single turn for at least the next 3 or 4 turns, you're gonna get waves of 1 mercenary and 1 archer. The archer will always spawn with a short bow, so he'll always be able to retaliate on you. As you can see, it hurts quite a lot. This can quickly go wrong if I miss too many attacks, because you get a new mercenary and a new archer every single turn. You can't block them, they'll just show up no matter what. And if you fall behind on damage here, like say you miss 2 hits in a row, you can very quickly get overwhelmed. I've had like 4 archers active at 1 turn because I simply was not able to kill them. And combined, they can kill any one of my guys. But luckily I wasn't unlucky here, and I was able to kill both the mercenary and the archer on the first turn. And usually when I manage to do that, I have a pretty good run. I think I probably spent about 15 tries on this chapter alone before I managed to get it. So here comes the peculiar enemy phase that I was talking about. Fredericka gets 4 powerful enemies after her at once. She'll need to dodge at least one of them. If she does that, she'll be fine. You can see that they have roughly about a 30% chance to hit her. There is another Wyvern as well. He has a horse lair, but I'm not in range of him just yet. I want to wait until I can place myself on one of the forest tiles to get that 20% extra avoidance, because I don't want to risk a horse lair against Fredericka. That nearly kills her. So right here you see Elijah be very effective with his new bow. The steel bow hits really hard, and with his new promotion gains he hits pretty hard as well. And that steel bow is going to be pretty darn effective on him. You just wait and see. So as the next turn rolls in, we have another round of the Suck Squad, and right here I was very nervous because missing with Owen is usually pretty bad. As you can see, if you don't deal enough damage to these guys, they'll start to ramp up rather quickly. So I was sort of nervous here. The mercenaries always spawn with Lance Reavers. Luckily I got an Axe Reaver on Eagle to counter that, but they still double him, or at least they have a chance to double him if they spawn with enough speed, and sometimes they have crit on him as well. But I got a lucky crit on Stark, so that sort of makes it easier. In fact, I have 1 unit left over, so I was pretty darn happy about that. That makes my life a lot easier, so I don't really have to worry about the Suck Squad not being able to keep these reinforcements away. So, right now they have a bit of a chill time. I can pretty much just move them in as I see fit. And it's time to try and kill this healer. Now you'll see what I mean when I say these healers are not easy to kill. Lily had a little bit of a bad luck stroke right there. And Charles also help, but I actually need like 3 units to kill this one healer, and this healer needs to die on this turn, because I'll be engaging the boss next turn, and if I don't have this healer dead, well, as I said, he's gonna start healing that boss up with the physics staff, and that's gonna ruin my run, because every turn I have to face the boss is a risky turn. You'll see why in a bit. So right here I'm contemplating helping out Darius with Bell, but since this guy 2-shots Bell and I don't 1-shot him, I make the decision to visit a village instead. There are 2 villages you can visit on this map, on the west flank side. This village gives you a red gem, the other one gives you a Lance Reaver. There are also 3 other buildings you can visit, but they are mainly for story purposes, although I will end up visiting the tavern in the center to trigger my favorite event in Staff of Ages. So here I place Fredericka on the forest tile. The horse lair Wyvern comes in, you see he has a 15% chance to hit her. Would have been 35 on open ground. And that's not something I'm very comfortable with, so that's why I decided to wait with pulling him. So it's time to engage the boss. His name is Markus. He's a fairly scary boss. He's a sentinel, aka a halberdier. He gets 15% extra crit due to the Swordmaster buff, because he's a specialized weapon class. He also has a very interesting personal skill. He gets extra crit and damage versus spell, so if you play a regular run, I would advise you against attacking this guy with Bell, because he's gonna have like 40% plus crit against her. Even against Fredericka, he has a chance to 1-shot her, because of all of his buffs. That's why I gave her the goddess icon, but she still risks getting one-shot by a crit. So Belle goes shopping again, as she tends to do, and she picks up a Shine Tome. I need Shine Tomes because Fredericka is going to be doing a majority of the fighting from this point on. Shine Tomes are fairly expensive. They cost 900 gold. That's basically 30 gold per attack. So it's not exactly cheap, but then again, I don't really have any other units than Fredericka who can really do a lot of heavy lifting. And in the upcoming chapters, I know I'm going to have to rely on her a lot. So that is why I decided to pick up a Shine Tome. If you paid attention though, you would have noticed that a monk just came out of the northern village. He's going to start moving towards the enemies. You'll need to talk to him with Belle in order to recruit him. His name is Harold. Harold is not a particularly useful unit, but he does come with the Shine Tome. And I definitely need more Shine Tomes because of Fredericka. So I'm not too sad about that. I mean, he could do some nice damage, I guess. But he's not like what I call a spectacular unit. I'll still field him though. So here I deny Markus his forest tile by luring him out into the open, which lowers his avoidance quite a bit. And he'll die on the next turn, although every single time I face him, as you can see, he has 8% crit against me. But he goes down in the end. Now, killing Markus does not end reinforcements, nor does it finish the chapter, but it does give you a Draco Shield, which I will also give to Fredericka. It also gives you another benefit, but you won't notice it right away. Markus will show up as a mini-boss 2 chapters from now if you don't kill him, which is a little bit annoying. So now I don't have to deal with him anymore. So Belle recruits Harold. Again, not really much to say about Harold. He has a personal skill that makes him more effective against dark magic. And there are some dark mages on this map, but they're actually gonna show up later on. They've actually changed Harold's positioning from the previous patch. He used to show up from the village in the south that my Slug Squad are close to. And he actually used to kill some guys right off the bat, but this time around he actually shows up to the north, which is quite peculiar. I'm not sure why they changed that. But visiting that village doesn't really give you anything. There's really no point in doing it. If you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm setting up my units to prepare for the incoming reinforcements. Very soon we're going to get reinforcements from the west, and we're also going to get reinforcements from the south. There you can see a bunch of them came in already, alongside 2 Cavaliers. I'm going to attack them with Stark, as well as Owen, across the wall. This is something I discovered on one of my later tries. It's actually pretty effective, because that means I only have to deal with one of them. In fact, I decide, you know, since I have Una nearby, I might as well just kill him right away. In hindsight, though, I should probably not use the Shine Tome on Una, because she can use Thunder, which has the same might, so I'm not really sure why I did that. I just had to trigger that. It is my favorite event in the games. So I wanted to shut up for a moment to let you listen to the amazing music, so yeah, that's a pirate that's gonna join you later. He's too drunk to join you now. I love that event so much. I just had to show it off. So right here, I make my first big mistake of this run. I'm looking for a vulnerary. I realize Harold probably has one, so I'm moving Darius back, and I decide to let Elijah face like 4 enemies at once, which ended up being a huge mistake. I figured with his new promotion gains and his new skill that he would be tanky enough to do it, but it turns out all those 4 guys, if they manage to hit him, they will actually one-shot him. Now luckily, I mean, since you're watching this run, you probably already guessed that that does not happen, but it comes fairly close, and it made me really afraid. Because this is easily one of my best runs so far. I think this, as I said, I think this was like my 20th attempt or something, and everything had been going super well according to plan. There are a lot of things in this chapter that can really mess you up. If you get a couple misses, things can really escalate. So as you can see right here, Elijah, despite his new promo gains and despite his personal skill that reduces damage taken by 2, these enemies still hit him fairly hard. And they knock him down to 7 health, and I'm like, oh shit, here comes the reset, here comes the reset. But luckily, the last Cavalier failed to connect with a 35% hit, and Elijah manages to survive. Thank God for that. So right now, it's pretty much a breeze from here, but we're not quite out of it yet. I decide to check out how good Harold is against this guy. And again, in hindsight, I realize I should not waste my Shine Tomes like this, because again, Fredericka is my main combat unit, she will be for a very long time, and Shine Tomes are expensive. I should not be attacking with a Shine Tome with anyone who isn't Fredericka, so I really should not have done this, but I guess hindsight is 2020, or whatever you say. So I visit the last village here to pick up the Lance Reaver. That's a fairly effective weapon, allows Belle to deal with Lance users, so she's probably going to be flying around with that, I can imagine. I know I'm going to get attacked by Pegasus Knights from the east, as well as Dark Mages from the south, so I'm splitting up my units in two and just wait for them to arrive. But you'll see something hilarious happen here. So Lily can deal with this guy because he has a Sword Weaver, but I decided to attack that mage right there with Harold. Now, Fredericka's personal skill gives +3 rest to any target she heals, and I was completely unaware of this at this point, or at least I had forgotten. So I attack with Harold. I'm like, 3% crit? Pfft, it's not gonna happen. If it wasn't for Fredericka healing Harold, he would have died, because that 3 rest effectively translates into 9 less damage taken due to the tripling of the crit. So if I hadn't healed Harold, he would have died, so I was pretty upset, let's just put it that way, that I accidentally survived like that without even thinking about it. I could have told you guys it was, you know, intentionally planned out, but that would be a complete lie. That happened completely by accident, and I just realized how lucky I'd been after it happened. So yeah, now it's just basically deal with Dark Mage, deal with reinforcements, I say, deal with the Mercenary, and that is actually going to be the very last enemy that shows up on this map, and the last remaining 2 turns actually won't have anything happening at all, and I'll actually just be standing there looking at my units. So again, I'm not really sure if this proves that this defense chapter is too easy. I mean, normally you wouldn't just send Fredericka out like that because you want your other units to get experience, but I was pretty surprised I was able to do this at 0% growth, like completely rout the enemy, even kill the boss and get all the villages, and even get 2 turns to stand around and do nothing. I mean, I was very shocked. I did not expect to be able to do this, but I did. So yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is Chapter 9, cleared in 12 turns, I think. Hope you guys enjoyed. Give this video a like and a comment, and I'll be back soon with Part 10. Bye-bye!